Hey everyone, I want to record a short retirement tip video and talk through how you should invest your health savings account. So HSAs are something that we talk a lot about in this group. And so in this video, first I want to go over what an HSA is in case that you're new to this group or you've heard us talk about them before, but you're not really sure what they are. And then also how to invest that health savings account for maximum tax savings. So let's get into it. What is an HSA? So an HSA is a pretty unique retirement account. It's the only retirement account that offers you triple tax savings. Okay, so let's take an IRA. When you put money into an IRA, you get a tax deduction. Okay, so if you put $5,000 into an IRA this year, your taxable income is lowered by $5,000. Now this money grows tax deferred, and then eventually when you take it out, you owe taxes. And so the IRS always has a way that it gets its taxes back, okay? And so a Roth IRA works in basically the exact opposite way. So when you put money into a Roth, you pay taxes right away. Now that money then grows tax-free, and when you take that money out, you can also take it out tax-free. And so it's basically an IRA that's just flipped on its head, if you will. Now an HSA is the only account that will give you that triple tax savings that we just talked about. So when you put money into an HSA, you get a tax deduction, much like when you put money into an IRA. It lowers your taxable income. Then that money grows tax-free in an HSA. And if you use it for qualified medical expenses, that money can be withdrawn tax-free as well. And so you avoid taxes when you contribute, but you can also avoid taxes on the growth and when you withdraw it. And so that therein lies the triple tax savings. Now, we know invariably as a retiree that you're going to have plenty of medical expenses in and throughout retirement. Okay? And so this is why it's so powerful to contribute to an HSA, because you're basically avoiding the American tax system. Now, in 2020, a single filer can contribute $3,550 into an HSA. A married filer can contribute $7,100. Okay, so let's say you have money in an HSA, or let's say you're going to put money into an HSA this year. How should you invest it? Well, if you just Google how to invest in HSA or the best investments for an HSA, you're going to get something that looks a little bit like this. Okay, I just typed into Google how to invest your HSA. And in almost every article, you'll see something like this, an investment that looks like this, the JP Morgan Ultra Short Income ETF. And it doesn't matter what article you look at, they all seem to recommend keeping that HSA in cash or keeping it in short-term bonds. Now, the logic seems right on the surface, right? We don't know when we're going to have medical expenses down the road. And so we don't want to invest that money into risky assets and risk losing a bunch of money when we need that money the most. Well, unfortunately, this is the wrong advice, okay? Putting your money in low growth, short-term options is leaving money on the table, leaving tax savings on the table. So let's go through an example. You should, I think you should, invest that account as aggressively as possible. So let's say you put it 100% into stocks. And so we're sitting here today, okay, and we don't know at some point in the future we're going to have health expenses, medical expenses that we're going to want to use that HSA for. Now, let's say hypothetically that we need that money 6 months from now. Okay, we have some medical expenses. Well, the reason that you want to invest this account aggressively is the upside's easy, okay? Let's say from here to 6 months from now, this account grows, the stock market has done fantastic, and you're up 10%, okay? Well, I don't know how big the medical expenses are going to be. Maybe they're going to be less than the growth, but obviously growing our account by 10% grows the tax savings that we eventually have. It's a no-brainer, okay? It works out very well. But for those skeptics out there saying, okay, what happens if it's down 10%? Well, let's look at that case. So let's say we have a rough run in the stock market and now we're down 10%. And again, we need that money out. Now, here's the thing. What most people forget or don't know about is there is no deadline for when you need to use that money. Okay, so let's say we're sitting here 6 months from now, the market's down 10%, your HSA is down 10%, and you incur this medical expense. Well, there is no deadline for when you need to use this money. And so basically what we can do is we can pay this medical expense out of pocket. Okay, and we can wait, and let's say 6 months from now, the market bounces back. Okay, and it's back to break even. Well, we can actually withdraw that money from that HSA and pay ourselves back. Okay, there's no deadline. It doesn't matter if it takes the market 6 months to recover, if it takes the market 5 years to recover. Okay, you can pay medical expenses in the short term out of pocket and then pay yourself back down the road. And again, if you keep good receipts, it qualifies as a medical expense, even though you've already paid for it out of pocket. Now, the qualifier for this is you need to have the HSA set up when you originally incur that medical expense. And so you can't set up an HSA today and pay for medical expenses 6 months ago. Okay, it needs to be set up at the time the medical expense is incurred. Now, obviously, this strategy doesn't work either if you don't have the ability to pay that out of pocket as well. And so, again, there are a few qualifiers for this strategy, but I make the case that you should almost always invest your HSA aggressively. Okay, if things go well, and we know that they should over the long term, you grow that tax savings. Okay, if things don't go well, you can pay those expenses out of pocket and later on pay yourself back. Okay, after the markets come back, after your account is back up to break even, or maybe even after it grew a little bit. Okay, so hopefully this video was informational, got you thinking a little bit differently about how to invest your health savings account. Always remember, you don't need more money. You need a better plan. Thanks for watching.